this is a big series.
It's a huge series, and the worst you want to do in this one, the very worst, is take 3 of 5. The reason is you come in 4.5 games in back of Detroit, a game in back of Minnesota, but 5 games back in the loss column, and so you'd like to make up a little ground.
This is the 4th meeting of the year between these two clubs, and the first 3 Sox have won 2. So the first pitch of the ball game to Granderson taken for a strike. Curtis hitting at .264, 13 homers and 34 driven in. Fouls it down and the count 0-2. Tigers come in at 30 and 25. They're hitting .264 as a team with a 3.98 ERA.
Curtis has real good power for a leadoff hitter and eventually might find himself in the middle of the order, just not this one because it's loaded.
He gone. 1 down.
Good solid fastball on the outside corner. It was set up with a slider. You see AJ wants it away and Clayton throws it right there.
Here's a tough little out right here. Placido Polanco hitting at .252, a homer he's driven in 21. But against us, he is quite the guy. Last year hit .307 for the Tigers with 8 homers and knocked in 58. And here at beautiful US Cellular Field, .330 down the left field line, .335 down the right field line, .375 in the gaps, and .400 straightaway center. Not a bad crowd on hand for a makeup game, more than I thought and anticipated.
I would assume there's still more coming to the ballpark when they realize that the day is actually a pretty decent day.
And there he goes again, Polanco. Guys like Placido Polanco and Jamie Carroll of Cleveland, they just wear us out.
Well, Polanco wears out a lot of people. Although he's just hitting in the 250s. This is a guy that will make contact. He's very difficult to strike out. And as long as you put the bat on the ball, as we saw with Jamie Carroll in the Cleveland series, you get a chance to do some damage.
Here's the 35-year-old veteran, Mags Ordonez. Mags hitting at .280. Power numbers are down, 2 homers, 21 ribbies. Last year his .317 with 21 homers and knocked in 103 for Detroit. Sox last year played the Tigers 18 times and won 12 of them.
Ordonez is grounded into 8 double plays. He doesn't have big speed anymore, so if you can get him to hit the ball on the ground, it is going to be 2.
Big hack. So the count 2-1 to Ordonez. And there is a base hit just over the outstretched leap of Chris Getz.
That bat shattered, but had enough in the swing to just dump it over Chris's head. See, the ball was up. If that ball is down and in the same location, it's not going to be hit like that. It's probably going to be hit for a ground ball to second into 2. But the fact was that it was up. Ordonez caught it off the end of the bat, but had enough to muscle it over Getz's head.
That'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Hitting at .352, 10 homers. He's driven in 38.
He's going to be trotting today because of that hamstring. So you don't even have to field it cleanly to get a double play if he hits it.
Well, he just turned 26 years old, and he's been trotting for a while. 185 home runs.
Yes, sir.
Cabrera was 6 years now, counting this half season, or a little over a third. 6 years in the big leagues. He has 185 home runs and 688 RBIs. And the count 2-0.
This would be one of the last guys that you want to fall behind, because he's got power to all fields. It's not like he can just take it to left and left center. You can hit it over your head in center, take it out of the ballpark in any direction.
Change up. Couldn't pull the trigger. And the count 2-1. Well, in my opinion, there's not a better hitter in the American League than this guy.
He's just been outstanding, especially since putting on that Detroit uniform. He seems to get better and better with every passing year. He's only in his mid-20s.
Comes back with that fastball. Changeup was at 81, the fastball at 91. And the count 2-2. Souvenir right side. And I want to give a big White Sox shout out to Dan Carter. He did such a wonderful job on our national anthem.
Oh, he did a great job. That's a big voice.
Little guy, huge voice. Once again, the 2-2. And that's off his foot. Outfield, slightly to the right. And Dwayne Wise, as usual, very shallow out there.
Tigers come in 13-14 on the road. And every team in the AL Central has a losing record on the road. The Tigers actually have the best road record.
Second base. Take it yourself. Anyway, that's good. Wow. Nothing across after a half inning of play. It's the Tigers, nothing, and the good guys coming to bat.
Odds leading off, followed by Ramirez and Dye. Tomey the DH today with Konerko, Pierzynski, Getz, Fields, and Wise hitting ninth and playing center field. The defense and how they'll line up for the Tigers. Rayburn, Granderson, and Ordonez left to right. Inge, Everett, Polanco, and Cabrera. Pretty good defensive infield. With Sardina behind the plate and Armando Galarraga looking for his seventh loss on the hill. He's a sinker baller that plays right into our hands.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as first pitch strike to Scotty Pods, hitting at 299. No homers, he's driven in 9. Sox come in at 26-30. Hitting at 250 as a club with a 4.32 ERA. Oh, the 27-year-old right-hander out of Caracas, Venezuela. Armando Galarraga, 6'4", 180 pounds.
He's given up 12 home runs in 61 innings. That's a whopping total.
And there's the sinker turned over. Misses outside and down. 2 balls and a strike.
If you can get on base, you can run on this combination. Sardina had a ball fouled off his middle finger of his throwing hand. It's just now getting back.
Back through the middle. Knocked down, slowed down, and that's going to be a base hit for Pods.
Galarraga tried to field it with his foot, but lacking a glove, he was able to redirect it because this ball's headed to center field. Galarraga falls off the mound to the first base side and can't recover. but does slow it down ever so gently. And after that, there's no chance to get Scotty at first.
That'll bring up Alexei. Tied 7 stolen bases and 10 attempts. Ramirez hitting at .247, 4 homers. He's driven in 26. Pretty good lead by Pides. And there's a strike.
Ramirez is starting to get a little more selective, not jumping on every breaking pitch in the dirt. The pitch for Galarraga, his wipeout pitch, is a good hard slider.
Long set. And that pitch foul back to even the count. Check that. The count is 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes for Alexei. He has faced Galarraga twice. He is 0 for 2. Outfield, they are straight up and spread out. Fairly deep. Checks it up. Good check.
Well, they're going to decide to run. This is a pretty good pitch. You don't usually see a pitch out on this count, and that wipeout slider many times winds up low and away. Tough pitch for Sardina to handle.
Two balls, 2 strikes. First of a split doubleheader if you're just tuning in. Game 2 tonight, this regularly scheduled time. Jose Contreras back on the bump and Jeremy Binderman back on the bump. Binderman making his first start in over a year. Ball hit hard, but foul.
Galarraga taking a long time in his set position in an effort to combat the running game, which so far has not been broken out.
There's a limited slate of action around the major leagues today. One other day game, that's Colorado. That's St. Louis. Another long set by Galarraga, and there's another hard hit foul ball. Other action in the National League will show San Francisco at Florida, Pittsburgh taking on the Braves down in Georgia, and San Diego at home against Arizona. In the American League, Tampa Bay taking on the Yankees in the Bronx, Texas hosting Toronto, and Minnesota taking on the A's at the Coliseum. The A's have won 6 in a row.
We got them going. They've kept it going.
And a full count.
Now what Scott has to watch is Galarraga's best move. He hasn't shown it yet.
Scotty Pides, big lead over there. He's on point. Now time is called.
You figure Scotty to be running here. That's why you have to watch a good move. Usually the catcher is going to flash that sign on instructions from the bench as far as pitch outs or throws to first.
There you go. And that's fouled away. Well, those are general rules. Scotty Pides is always ready to get back into first with that big lead.
Jeff Cox going through his set of signs. For Ramirez, it's easy. Just hit it. For Scotty, it's probably go.
Jermaine Dye on deck and Tomey in the hole here in the bottom of the first. No score if you're just tuning in. There he goes. And that's Brandon Inge on the move. And that's out number 1. So with 1 out, let's check out our picks to click this afternoon. Jim Angio, our Hall of Fame director and crew, well, they're going to go with Josh Fields. Lisa, Tex, and Steve, they're going to go with Alex Ramirez. And Dave Petchka. Dave Petchka, Timaquan Golf Club. And Orlando and I, we're going to go with Scotty Pods, who is on at second base. And, of course, those picks brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com today. First pitch to Die. What job? Jermaine hitting at 273, 14 homers, 37 knocked in. He has faced Galarraga 6 times, and he has a couple of hits.
For those of you who remember the game that propelled us to game 163, Tigers started Freddie Garcia, who did a respectable job, and then Galarraga came in and we killed him. That really put the game away and set up the classic 163 with Minnesota.
Sox last year, last 3 games of the season, had to win all 3 of them against 3 different clubs. Only time it's ever happened in Major League history.
Indians, Tigers, and the Twins.
1-0 pitch. Grabs the strike with that one. So 1 out, 1-1 to count. And that's foul. The big man got to cinch it up and hunker down. The ball and 2 strikes.
This is a much better defensive left side now that Everett is playing shortstop. They had Renteria there. He had lost a couple of steps to either side. When Everett hits, it's a bonus. He's out there because he can really pick it.
And the count 2-2. Galarraga 13-7 last year with Detroit. Club that finished in last place, that was pretty good.
He's got a chance to be a real good pitcher.
Yes, he does.
Because if you throw sinkers and have the type of wipeout slider that he has, all you got to do is run the ball inside occasionally to keep him off that outside corner.
And throw strikes.
That certainly is the case.
That's low. So just for the first 3 hitters, he's throwing a lot of pitches. He has thrown 18 up to home plate already.
It's a very humid and surprisingly warm day.
Well, it's June 8th. I mean,
well, no,
this is the second warm day we've had.
Yes,
since...
I said it's surprising.
That's right.
It's been November in Chicago.
Oh, boy.
Up until yesterday.
And the payoff pitch. Checks it up, fouls it off. Yes, it has been unusually chilly here in the beautiful city.
Started warming up a bit, and the Indians hit 4 home runs in that game. So Sardina now goes out to talk with Galarraga because he's not working slowly enough. He wants him to take his time.
Bill Miller saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
We got 2 today, and I feel like I'm in the second game, Dane, so get back here and accept this pitch.
And once again, the payoff. And that's ball 4. Here comes the big man, Jim Thome. Jimmy hitting at 242, 9 homers, 32 driven in. Jimmy, of course, sitting on 550 home runs. 13th all time. Jimmy has faced Galarraga 5 times and has drawn the collar. They do not have the shift on for Thome with a couple of men aboard.
One of the things that Scotty Potts has to watch at second base, he's got Everett right behind him. He's shifted to the point where he's very close to second base. And if you're struggling with your control, as Galarraga is, you might look for a pickoff.
And the count 2-0. So Tomey with the catbird seat.
And Galarraga doesn't look right. I'm not sure if he's 100% or not, but right now the ball's not popping. He's had very little on the slider. And so Rick Knapp is going to come out. Have a word with him, but of course Bill Miller's going out there to break this up.
That may have been what Sardina went out to ask him if he was okay earlier, because the fact is, you just stated,
doesn't look
looks a little short.
Yeah, it doesn't look to me like it's the guy that we've seen at times and watched on television a number of times that's popped the baseball. This guy's not popping it so far.
Tomey with the 2-0. Big hack, no contact.
Jimmy loves the ball down, and that would have been 3-0, but he saw a fastball down there, went after it, and that one showed some pretty good movement.
Fouls it back, so the count 2-2. So Knapp go out to talk pitching coach. Other coaches, Lloyd McClendon, the hitting coach. Raphael Belliard, infield coach. Gene Lamont at third. Jeff Jones, the bullpen coach. And, of course, Andy Van Slyke, the coach at first. And a full count to Tomey with Konerko, the on-deck hitter. Ball four base hit right here, 25. Zone him in, reel him in, and light him up. There they go. And that is chopped foul.
One of the guys on our team that's done a good job against Galarraga is in the on-deck circle. That's Paul Konerko. So Jimmy hoping to keep this inning alive with just one out to make sure that Paul gets a chance to hit against Galarraga here in the first. Now, usually, if you get a strikeout here, a catcher will throw to second base, knowing that Dye is not as close to the same speed as Posednik.
There they go. And that's ball four. That will load him up. So back-to-back walks to Dye and Tomey, and here comes Paulie, who is 3 for 5 lifetime against Galarraga. Paulie on the season hitting at .295, 7 homers. He's driven in 34. But Paulie has been swinging the bat well, hitting line drives all over the ballpark, right at somebody. And there's ball one. Right here. Right here, Paulie. Right man, right spot, right time. And now even better, the catbird seat. 2-0.
This is an outfield you're probably going to run on if you get a chance. Mags used to have a big arm. Not so anymore, especially for a right fielder.
2-0 pitch. High into center field. Pods tagging. Everybody's tagging. Jermaine, he's going to go to third. Scotty Pods scores. And the Sox lead at 1-0.
RBI number 35 for Paulie, who got a pitch up, knowing that a fly ball of even medium depth was going to score the run. This fastball is right down the middle, just under belt high. Ball hit it easily far enough.
Well, Paul's happy that the run scored, but he was looking for a little more on that pitch.
There's no question. That was a fastball that tailed right over the heart of the plate.
Here's A.J. hitting at .303, 5 homers. He's driven in 12. He's faced Galarraga 5 times, has 2 hits, one of which stayed in the park.
The bullpen is up and going for Detroit. I got to believe, Hawk, that Galarraga is not right. I mean, whether he gets out of this inning or not, usually with a split doubleheader especially, you don't get the bullpen up in the first inning after just 1 run.
And the count 2-0. Big run out there at third base. A.J., pick him up.
Nate Robertson loosening in the bullpen.
Down ball right side, takes a bowling book bounce right there for Polanco. So with all that, he threw 32 pitches. We only pick up 1, and after 1, it is 1-0 White Sox. Marcus Timms, the hitter, with a 2-0 count. And again, well, you're going to be evidently, as it looks right now, Brian Runge, the umpire at second base, has the stopwatch, although I have not seen him with it yet. So we are, there it is. We'll have to see if we're going to get the allotted time. If not, we'll come back with sometimes an out, sometimes a
right, well,
2-1 count.
And we'll tell you graphically what you missed.
The 2-2 pitch to Timms. Timms last year hit .241, 25 homers, knocked in 56. This year, Marcus hitting at .261, no homers, 2 RBIs, but he's only had 23 at-bats. That is high, deep into right center field. Jermaine back, jumps, and makes the catch. What a catch by Jermaine Dye. Once again, the big man is throwing some leather out there this year. Mercy.
It appears that Jermaine is making a concerted effort to win a Gold Glove. Because in this park especially, he's done a great deal of wall climbing, and this time it's out in right center field. It's our high-definition shot of the game. As Jermaine goes up, that ball is going to be easily out of the park. It's not one of those you catch in front of the stands and then take your glove over. That ball would have been gone, but for the great leaping grab of Jermaine.
That ball hammered into center field, and that's going to be over the head of Dwayne Wise, as we mentioned, always playing shallow out there. So the one-out double by Brandon Inge. Yeah, Jermaine, it's a good thing he's 6'5", but this year he's been playing like he's about 7'2".
He's playing great, and he's catching balls down the line in right field. He's cutting off balls in the alley. I mean, you can tell his legs feel 100% because he's moving real well.
So Inge picks up his 9th two-bagger. Landon came in hitting at 277, 12 homers and 37 knocked in. So he's at second. Here's Ryan Rayburn hitting at 250 with 3 homers and 12 ribbies. Takes first pitch strike. Rayburn in limited action last year for the Tigers hit 236, 4 homers and drove in 20. And there's the strike.
And Rayburn doesn't like it. He's looking back at Bill Miller. But if Bill calls him in there, Clayton's probably going to have a pretty good day. See where A.J. wants it. I can understand where Rayburn might be a little upset.
Well, he went about it the wrong way, as he, especially being a newcomer.
Don't look back at the umpire
don't ever
and
look
have
back.
a discussion.
Step out, bend over, get some dirt, and tell him what you will in your mind.
Might want to tell him I thought it was low, but I don't think you want to turn back because the next close pitch, I'm going to see you walking back to the dugout.
He gone. That's up high. One and two the count. Ate him up, fouls it back.
Marcus Timms thought that ball was out of the ballpark. It wasn't. He was looking at Jermaine, and Jermaine goes, I got you. Get it to somebody else. I'm too big.
Usually that's the little exchange right there between a guy, especially if he's a buddy of yours or you played against him for a while. 2-2. It's full. I know big Frank Howard. He was playing with Washington. Went up, and he was big, 6'8". And he could jump a little bit. He was a great basketball player at Ohio State University.
He was also in there about 3 1/4 during his playing days, wasn't he?
Well, when we roomed together one year, he was 6'8", 303 with a 36-inch waist.
Wild pitch and ball for it, and A.J. can't find it. Clayton does. So you lose Rayburn. You got some difficulties, especially now with Inge moving into second. Got to throw that one down and in. A.J. couldn't get the good movement to his left. Inge moves up after the double 90 feet to third base, so it's runners at the corners. And you're looking for 2 off the bat of Everett.
Well, let's see what Leland wants to do here. Everett hitting at 264.
He's also a great bunter, by the way. I mean, this is one of the best bunters in the league. So
we'll see what he wants to do.
I don't know if Jimmy's going to bunt ahead of a 115 hitting catcher. But
if he thinks he can get the run in, he will.
Well, this guy can get the run in on a bunt.
There's the strike. Well, the bad thing about Rayburn, he had him 0-2. Our pitchers have been getting better about that, but still, when you get down to the 7th, 8th, and 9th place hitters, you get them 0-2. You don't want to walk them. Anytime, but especially 0-2. And there's the strike. Well, he's got Everett 0-2. Everett out of Ackworth, Georgia. And that's foul back. Different philosophies for different managers. Some managers, once they fall behind, whether it be 1-0 or 2-0, they get that situation, man on first and third, one out, with a guy who can handle a bat at the plate. They're going to get that run in. He's going to get it in with a base hit. There's a single. So he had Rayburn 0-2, walked him. He had Everett 0-2 and gives up a solid base hit to tie the game. Still trouble a brewing.
RBI number 21 for Everett, and this is a slider that stays right over the middle of the plate. Don Cooper now coming out. He wants to have a word with Clayton. The last couple of times out, he hasn't looked like the guy we saw for 3 straight starts, because he really is not popping the fastball. We've seen it top out at 91 today.
Well, I don't think that's unusual. This is his 18th appearance. He goes out there. This is his 6th start.
Yes.
So when you go out there and have 3 starts like he had, as a rule, a guy who has not been starting regularly or getting a lot of work is going to come up with a little bit of a tired arm.
Well, to do that, you're going to have to make some adjustments then, because to pitch the same way that you
can't
pitched,
do it.
right, when your stuff was a little extra special, today you got to dazzle them with your footwork. Sometimes you have to, what's called, invent a pitch.
Cunning and Guile.
Well, that's
the famous law firm.
He's a little young for the cunning and guile at this point, but today might be a day where he'd want to try to break that out of the bag. And that means throw a good straight change every now and then, especially to a slow-running catcher, because the double play is still out there for you.
Start in high with a 2-0 count. He's hitting at 115. Now long look down at third.
That was a suicide missed. What a break they caught. That was a suicide squeeze that Sardina missed.
Rayburn was coming.
Well, he was right on his doorstep when he swung. Fortunately, it was hit so high and so far, he had a chance to go back to third. Here you see him. He's coming. Now, he knows it. You certainly know Gene Lamont knows it. But unfortunately, well, it was hit too far for us to take advantage of that.
Yeah, he had plenty of time to get back. As here's Granderson. Off the end of the bat, but some damage is done. We score 1 in the bottom of the first. They come back with 2 in the top of the second. Even something better. Which team will win this 4-day, 5-game series? A, White Sox, B, Tigers. A, White Sox, B, Tigers. Just text A or B to 97999 and watch for the results later in the ball game. Chris Getz will start it off here in the bottom of the second. Takes high ball 1. Chris hitting at 248, no homers. He's driven in 10. One and one to count. Outfield about equidistant, spread out slightly to the left. And the count's 2-1.
This is a real good defensive infield for the Tigers.
Little chopper. And they get him. So the lead man gone.
White Sox group and party area outings. It's priority seating for your group of 20 or more fans. You can save $1 to half off each ticket, depending on the size of your group in the party areas like the fan deck, warning track, or an individual game diamond suite. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details.
Josh Fields hitting at 242, 3 homers. He's driven in 21. Off the end of the bat, into short center field, Granderson. He's got some make-up speed. And quickly 2 down.
Ever since coming to the major leagues, Curtis Granderson has improved on a yearly basis. Because as a leadoff hitter, he was striking out in the 170s, and that's something that you can't really do if you're going to lead off. He's got great speed. He's become a very good center fielder, but his best improvement is in making contact, and he's getting stronger.
Here's D. Wise. Wayne takes ball 1. And of course, earlier in the season, suffered that separated shoulder. Takes that strike, and the count 1-1.
Well, normally he would probably still be on a minor league rehab, but for the injuries piling up. So Dwayne had only a 2-game rehab before coming back up and actually trying to rehab his stroke in the major leagues. It hasn't worked out as well as he would like. But when he left with that separated shoulder, he was starting to swing the bat real well.
That's flipped into left field. That's going to be a quick inning for Armando Galarraga. Just an 8-pitch inning. And he leads it 2-1. First pitch fastball strike to Polanco, leading off here in the top of the third. In his first at bat, he singles sharply right back through the middle. 2-4-0 for the Tigers, 1-1-0 for our Sox.
You got to be careful when you go inside to Polanco. Now, he only has one home run, but he's capable of hitting it out, and he loves to line the ball down the left field line if you stay in.
1-2. Probably got his hands closer to the sweet meat on the bat as any hitter in this league.
He's choked up ever since I saw him. That was way back with St. Louis. And he's always been a real tough man to strike out.
Gotta hurry.
It's going to go E6, I believe. Get used to Paulie making that play every time, that when he doesn't make it, it's somewhat surprising. Goes E6. Alexi rounded out his move in, which was good, so he could get the throw off. This time the ball just hit off of Paul's glove. It bounced well out in front of him. But it's a rarity when he doesn't make that play.
That was a tough hop right there.
Very tough.
That's one of those tough hops. Here is Ordonez. Mags, broken bat single just over the head of Chris Getz. There he goes. They got him picked off. Now the balk is called.
That one was a balk, I believe. That wasn't the usual two-piece move by Clayton. He was going to make the pitch and then saw that Polanco was running, and then he went to first base behind him. So not a whole lot of argument. We'll watch it again. Well, yeah, he stepped right toward the plate. I mean, that's going to get you every time.
So the error by Ramirez, and now Polanco at second balk this season. Called on Clayton Richard. Everything is self-induced. You make your own breaks in this game. Playing poorly. And that's trouble. Jermaine now comes on, makes the catch, so that will not get Polanco over to third.
Ordonez tried to do the right thing. He tried to go to the right side, but fortunately that one just carried to Jermaine. Really, there was no way at all that Polanco was going to tag up on the arm of Jermaine Dye, so he stays right at second.
That'll bring up Cabrera, hit into a 4-6-3 double play.
Bimmel has been consistent inside. He's giving Clayton that pitch. Now, he's throwing good pitches in there, but the more you get inside, the more you can go inside, and then it sets up the straight change away.
Well, they're only about 15, maybe 20% tops. Umpires will call the inside strike.
Do you think, Hawk, that if you were to pick out one spot where you had to get out Cabrera in a difficult situation, that would be the spot inside? Or is there a spot?
Well, to me, Stevie, there's probably, there goes the runner. You got a shot at him? No. Bad throw. Bad throw right there, or they had him. Getting back to any good hitter. And Miguel Cabrera is certainly that as you look at the stolen base. To me, when you got a big spot in the ball game, you got to get him. You got to get him in. You can try to get the ball away to good hitters, they're going to kill you. You don't hear that talked about that much. There used to be sayings such as the better the individual, the better the hitter, the more you got to pitch him inside. The better hitting the team is, the better hitting teams, the more you got to pitch them inside. And that's almost like a lost parlance now, so to speak. That's one thing about Cabrera that makes him such a great hitter, though, is that he can hit with short arms as good as anybody.
Well, he also fights off the ball inside.
That's what I'm talking about. Short arms.
He'll do that consistently, fouling it off to force you to give him a pitch out over the plate. They're going to try to go in, I believe, again.
He gone.
Cabrera now talking with Bill Miller, but the only complaint that he would have would be that ball was high. The reason being that Miller has called the ball inside, and we're in the third inning. If you're observant, you got to realize that Miller's strike zone is going to be inside today. That couldn't be high. That ball's maybe an inch or two above the belt.
Perfect strike. That's a perfect inside corner pitch strike. So here's Timms. Jermaine Dye took a home run away from him. Went up over the fence. Yeah, if you're sitting over there in that first base dugout and you're in the game and you're watching this progress, if you don't want the inside pitch, you better back off the plate a little bit.
Because he's going to call it.
That's where you got to create your own strike zone. Another thing that's not talked about hardly at all anymore. You got to create your own strike zone. What pitch do you not want Clayton Richard or Armando Galarraga to get you out on? Which pitch do you do not want him? Because there's a Matabatacola.
Well, here's an example, Hawk. I remember, obviously, the late Roberto Clemente, who had 3,000 hits. He would get so far back in the batter's box and so far away from the plate, literally you almost couldn't see him. You just saw the catcher and the umpire. But he wanted the ball away. That's why he stood so far off the plate.
He created his own strike zone.
And then he would dive in, and if you caught even a bit of the outside corner, he'd rifle a double off the right center field wall. But that was the pitch he was inviting you to throw by where he's set up.
Guys who stand on top of the plate are creating their own strike zone. They want the ball from the middle in. They do not want the ball from middle out. Conversely, guys who stand off the plate want the ball middle out. They don't want the ball middle in. And you get an umpire, you know he's calling the inside strike. If you're a right-hand hitter, you don't want it, then you got to back off the plate. That home plate, that hitter's box, is the hitter's most precious possession. That's his most precious possession because they can't tell you where to stand. You can stand anywhere inside that box that you want to. You can force that pitcher, if you want to, you can force that pitcher to more or less pitch you the way you want him to pitch you.
We all know, Hawk, is seeing as many games as we have, there's probably less moving around in the batter's box today than ever in the history of the game.
There's no question about it, Stoney. There's absolutely no question about it. And guys today just don't realize how precious that space in that batter's box is. If you want to be pitched away, you can make them pitch you away by moving around that box. If you want to be pitched in, you can make them pitch you in. And yet guys go up there and stand in the same place against left-handers, right-handers, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, or 84-mile-an-hour sinkers. So he walks Timms, and that'll bring up Inge. Inge is tough out right now. He's swinging the bat well.
Well, he didn't want to walk a guy that has 2 runs batted in this year to get to a guy that has 37, but that's exactly what Clayton did. Now he's got to battle through it. And Inge is thought by many to be the best athlete on this team. He can play everywhere, including behind the plate. And he is really one strong guy.
Yeah, there is less moving around in the box. Joe Cronin, God rest his soul. Hall of Fame shortstop, former president of the American League. Joe took a liking to me, and I was playing with the Red Sox. He called me up one morning and says, "Get your behind down here. I want to talk to you." That's up high, and the count 3-0. I only lived maybe 2 miles from where his office was on Boylston Street there in Boston. So I went down there. He said, "Hawk, you're standing in the same place against everybody. You got to start moving around. These guys are going to eat you alive." That's popped up right side. Gets. He's there, makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. So he pitches out of it, the leadoff error, and it is still 2-1 Detroit. 1-0 the count to Scotty Pods, leading off here in the bottom of the third. 2-1 Tigers. Pods with a single and a run scored. In the first, as that pitch is off the plate. So the count 2-0. He's got the catbird seat.
Well, he does, Hawk. And tell a little bit about moving back and forth and what that did for you.
Oh, Joe
in the box.
Cronin, yeah.
Yes.
All right. He called me down. He says you're standing in the box against everybody, left-handers, right-handers, sinker ballers, high fastball pitchers. He said, that's dumb. And he said, what pitch do you want to hit? Is that's back through the middle? And it's almost a blueprint of the first base hit by Pods.
The only difference is that this one didn't hit the heel of Galarraga as it went back through the middle.
But he said, what pitch do you want to hit? I said, well, I'm an inside fastball hitter. He said, fine, move up on top of the plate. They will pitch you inside if you move up on top of the plate.
Thinking you can't get to it.
And I moved right up on top of the plate, stood on top of the plate, and wound up leading the league in RBIs. In fact, leading baseball in RBIs. So you can create your own strike zone, but you got to move around in that box.
If you missed it before, Galarraga is not the fastest guy to the plate. He's not overly slow, and he does hold the ball. But his catcher is still getting over a foul tip off the middle finger on his throwing hand and is not quite 100% yet.
Alexei grounded out to Brandon Inge. Pretty good lead by Pods. Alexei looking nothing but dead red right there.
And he got the hard slider, and that's Galarraga's best pitch. But to make that pitch effective, keep guys off the outside part of the plate, you have to establish inside. Galarraga to this point hasn't done a great job of doing that.
If you're just tuning in, we had an excellent chance to do some severe damage in the first inning. We only picked up one. Inge sucks it up and rack him up. '68th double play turned by the Tigers.
The Southwest RoboCam will take a look at a good play at third as Inge smothers it. And Polanco's going to get the throw away all the time. He doesn't have an overpowering arm, but he's real quick with his release.
So here's JD. He walked back in the first. Outfield, they are, for the most part, straight up and deep. And the count 2-0.
Get the ball up in the air. This being a hitter's count, it will go out of the park easily today.
That's back through the middle, so that double play hurts a little bit. We've been hitting into a lot of double plays after the leadoff man got on.
Jim Thome has been one of the leading antagonists against the Tigers for a long time, and he's in some select company as far as guys who've hit the ball out of the park against these same Tigers. Armin Killebrew, 68 of them. Yaz, 65. Mickey, 61. Jim, in many fewer games, 56 against these same Tigers.
64 fewer games than the killer. 0-1 to count to Thome. Well, when you got 550 home runs, you have to have a certain amount of home runs against every team.
You're going to get them against a whole lot of people.
That's low.
Polanco is way out there on the outfield grass playing second base. You've got Everett on the first base side of second base bag.
There's a base hit through the shift. So Jermaine will make the turn. He'll mosey on into third. Third hit this inning, and we have 2 out runners at the corners.
We couldn't have a better man up than Paul Konerko. Jimmy gets a sinker. He's a dead low ball hitter. That's why it's somewhat surprising he doesn't have better numbers against Galarraga lifetime, but he drives this right through the shift. Paulie has been our best hitter with runners in scoring position, and that's the position he finds himself in at this moment.
Paulie picking up the 35th ribby. Had a 2-0 cookie right there to hit, and just underneath it in the center field for the sacrifice fly. Good check on the slider, and the count 1-0.
Galarraga leads this team in home runs given up. There's only 2 of their guys in double figures. One of them's the youngster, Porcello. But the leader is Galarraga with 12.
That evens the count. 1-1 to Konerko with 2 down, runners at the corners, and Pierzynski on deck. Outfield now, just slightly to the left. You can hinge way back and off the line at third.
That was a good changeup, and he had Paul well out in front of it.
And now he's got to cinch it up and hunker down with a 1-2 count. Nice crowd on hand for this first game of the split doubleheader today. Game 2 will be tonight at 7:11. And that game will be over WCIU, Channel 26. As he gets him. And that'll retire the side. We strand 2 more. We had 3 hits that inning and no runs. First pitch high off the plate to Ryan Rayburn, who walked and scored back in the second. Tigers on top 2-1 here in the first of this split doubleheader. That's foul straight back. And the fourth inning is brought to you by Taco Bell's Fourth Meal. The meal between dinner and breakfast, open till 1 a.m. or later. Of course, that is one of the favorite establishments to grab a quick, good meal. Lisa Stone, Steve's much, much better half.
Now she'll have easy access in Scottsdale. There's one right around the corner.
Right around the corner, huh?
Right there. I think she chose our house with Taco Bell in proximity.
Location.
That's exactly right.
Here you go.
Rayburn's been with this organization a long time, and this is his fourth shot at the big leagues. Here he expands that zone. Pretty good changeup.
So here's Everett, an RBI single. He was down in the count 0-2. Fields at the cut of the grass at third. And the count 0-2 once again. That's up high.
Everett would just as soon not ever walk. He has just 7 walks and 122 at bats.
Well, there's some guys you don't want to walk.
No, he wouldn't be a guy that you want to pitch around, even with a, for him, lofty 270 batting average, including that base hit today.
Jess got a piece of that one. And just checking around down on the farm. Birmingham in first place by 5 games with that 37-19 record. Back there hitting at 271 as a club down there. Little comebacker. Attaboy. 2 down. And they've got some guys really. C.J. Rutherford tied for second doubles in the league at 18. Ranks third in the league in slugging percentage. David Cook really starting to get heated up. 11 homers and 5th in slugging at 523. Tyler Flowers ranks third in on-base percentage at 442. Tyler Flowers is as strong as any man in baseball.
One of the reasons why he's drawn a lot of walks is there's a lot of people pitching around him.
Well, it was just interesting. We've talked about this, but I'm sure the people out there who did not hear the first one, that I watched him take, I don't know, a ton of swings in spring training. And I only saw him maybe hit 3 balls foul. I'm talking about batting practice. That is caught by Jermaine. Long way to go. He got there, and that'll retire the side. 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. 2-1 Detroit. Of the fourth inning, AJ will lead it off. He'll be followed by Getz and Josh Fields. That ball hammered right to Mags.
Prorated White Sox season ticket plans are still available and begin with great matchups against the Dodgers and the Cubs. Full season weekday and weekend plans offer the best seat locations at the lowest prices with the most benefits. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com to reserve your seats today.
So here's Chris Getz. He grounded out to Adam Everett at short. Takes that strike on the inside corner. We were talking about the umpires. Only about 15, maybe 20% will call the inside strike. And as a rule, everyone that will call the inside strike is a good umpire. Now, does that mean all the guys that won't call it, because that's foul, won't call an inside strike, does that make them a bad umpire? No, it does not. Some guys just don't want to, most of them just don't want to call it.
Well, in knowing where the ump's zone is going to be on a day-to-day basis, you don't have to have a learning curve your first time up. Just watch what's being called to the guys ahead of you, unless, of course, your pod's leading off the game, and he's 2 for 2 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's low and away. Well, I told you before, that was one of the 3 elements that Ted Williams wanted to know each and every day when he got up. He called the ballpark. Helen would answer the phone. He'd say, Helen, which way is the wind blowing? She said, Ted, it's blowing in from center. Do you know who's pitching from them? Yes, Steve Stone's pitching from them. Do you happen to know what the umpiring crew, who's behind the plate? Yeah, Hank Soares behind the plate. He wanted those 3 elements that he thought about all day long. He put them together. He figured out Stoney's stuff. He knew as that ball hit into right field deep. Mags going back. He looks up, and it's short hops the fence. Now, Chris on his way to third. Here's the throw. He is safe. So the 1-out triple by Chris Getz. That's his second 3-bagger.
Well, there's a case when if you know your cutoff man and you know his arm capabilities, you're going to be able to run. And the cutoff man figures to be Polanco. He's the first guy out. He's the guy that's going to go out trailing this play as he gets over the head of Ordonez. Now, Polanco doesn't have a real strong arm. That's one of the reasons why Getz was able to easily get into third base, and he's looking at the relay right here, but knowing Polanco's going to make the throw, you coast into third.
So they bring the infield in with 1 down. And here's Josh Fields, who popped up to Granderson in center. Takes inside, ball 1. Outfield straight up, not equidistant. That ball is bobbled by Ames, but he recovers and throws him out. So once again, less than 2 out of men at third, and he just stays right there, and it'll be up to Dwayne Wise.
You're at bat, you're looking for a ball to hit in the air in this situation. And Inge, who was in anyway, able to knock it down. He's got such a strong arm that he doesn't even think of anything else except going to first.
As a talent, he hadn't even scratched the surface to what he can do.
And he can play pretty much anywhere.
And play the heck out of it. Wise popped up to left field. Takes first pitch strike. D. Wayne, we need you right here, buddy.
For whatever reason, he's been flipping the ball to left and left center quite a bit. That stroke is not where it needs to be right now. He's in an 0-2 hole.
Like he choked up a little bit on the bat. Didn't notice that in the previous swing. Which is the right thing to do. You can hit it just as far by choking up an inch as you can with a thumb over the little finger over the knob.
You could use a chopper in the infield with his speed.
That ball hit deep into left field, but not deep enough. So we have a one-out triple by Getz, and he stays right there at third. Oh, and 2 the count to Curtis Granderson leading off here in the top of the 5th. 2-1 Detroit. He gone. He is now 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
He's pitched Granderson well. Through the first fastball for a strike, Granderson faked a bunt on the second strike. That was a slider, and this time he just throws a fastball right by him.
So here's Polanco. He is 1 for 2, a single, and he reached on an error by Ramirez as there's a little soft ground ball. And very quickly, 2 gone.
Want to win the ticket game? You can call 866-STUBHUB or go to StubHub.com. It's fast, easy, and safe. The official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox.
Here's Maggs. He's 1 for 2. Little soft single over the head of Chris Getz. Take strike 1. Count evens. Back through the middle into center field. Another little soft single for Ordonez. And that'll bring up Cabrera. Cabrera has hit into a 4-6-3 double play and called out on an inside fastball.
Cabrera has a hamstring problem in his left leg. And Hawk, if a hitter has a hamstring that's not entirely healed, will that affect the weight shift and what he can do with the bat?
I've seen some bad hamstrings absolutely destroy guys' swings. Be the same for you. If you get a bad hamstring, as a pitcher, you're going to have to make some adjustments, aren't you?
Yeah, a lot.
A bunch.
Call for somebody else.
That's it.
But in the case of Cabrera, he knows that they really need him in the middle, and he's got that batting average still in the high 340s.
Well, some guys can do it, some guys can't. I know back in 1968, Yastrzemski had bad wrists. And he was out of the lineup for a while, and I told him, I said, Carl, you got to get back in the lineup. I said, they're not giving me anything to hit. Well, just his presence in the lineup changed things around. Now, his average went down to 265. He never complained one time. He just kept going to the post every day. Well, he wound up leading the league in hitting because his wrist got better.
That's good.
Yeah. But, I mean, some guys would never do that, though. Would never. There's the strike. And the count 3-1.
Well, this is where you got to be careful, and you just as soon keep the ball down. If not, throw it in on his hands.
So he gets 2 outs and a little soft single off the end of the bat by Ordonez. The walk to Cabrera. That's the second walk issued by Clayton. And here's Timms. I think that's a third walk. He walked Timms. And he walked Rayburn. Timms also was robbed of a home run on a beautiful catch, a beautiful play by a big Jermaine Dye going up and over the fence to bring it back in.
Timms, but just as soon you throw the ball away, you can jam him. Not if you keep falling behind, as Clayton has done for the last 2 hitters.
There's in and ate him up.
Yeah, that's really the spot where if you're going to pick one place, you'd go in there, preferably right around the number 13 on the uniform jersey, or 33 rather, on the uniform jersey of Marcus Timms.
And the count 3-1. There comes a point in time in a game where you got to make a couple of good pitches. And this is one of them right here. Not even close. All this coming with 2 out, nobody on.
Don Cooper coming out. Nobody up in the bullpen. He just wants to settle down Clayton Richard. Get him thinking along the same lines. You can't fall behind on powerful hitters and get away with it very long. And this Detroit team has a lot of thunder in this lineup. Jim Leland looking out, as his Tigers in first place. Pitching probably has been a bit better than he thought it was going to be, and we're going to have a look at Jeremy Bonderman, who hasn't thrown a pitch in the major leagues, I believe, since last June.
So here is a dangerous hitter. Brandon Inge, who has double scored and popped up to second. First pitch strike on the outside part. Nice pitch right there. That changeup low and away, and the count evens at 1.
Carrasco loosening up because this is the 98th pitch.
And the count off the inside corner, 2-1.
Plate is starting to move around on Clayton Richard. All things looked easy after a strikeout and a harmless groundout. It's turning into maybe the pivotal inning of the game. Now you have a home run hitter in a good hitter's count. love to keep it away from Ainge.
This is hitter's heaven right here. 3 consecutive walks, and it is 3-1 Detroit.
"38th run driven in." A.J. going out there to talk with Clayton Richard. 2-run deficit, a 3-1 game. One of the things A.J.'s doing is wasting a whole lot of time out there so Carrasco can get loosened up. Ozzie looking at his lineup card, realizing just how important these 5 games are in the grand scheme of things. Even though it is June, this is the team, certainly one of the teams we're going to have to beat.
And Ozzie also understands the importance of this first game.
Well, that's one of the reasons why DJ's coming in and Clayton will depart.
Ryan Rayburn will be the hitter, so things got away from Clayton Richard here in the top of the 5th. He struck out Granderson. Polanco on a little soft ground ball, then a base hit by Maggs, and 3 consecutive walks to Cabrera. Timms and Inge. He departs, and we'll be back.
Still a 3-1 deficit. He's got to retire Rayburn and get out of this inning and turn it over to the offense.
Rayburn has walked, scored, and struck out. Takes it outside.
DJ threw 2 innings yesterday, so we'll see how easily he bounces back today.
And the count 2-0. Reno. There's one. .28-year-old outfielder. Ryan Rayburn, 3 homers, 12 RBIs. That's hit down to Josh. And that'll retire the side. So once again, Carrasco comes on and gets the job done. Halfway home, we trail at 3-1. Right, 1-5-1 for our Sox here in the bottom of the fifth inning. It'll be the top of the order. Pods, Ramirez, and Dye face the 27-year-old right-hander Armando Galarraga. Pods 2 for 2. Now he's going to be 2 for 3. Granderson taking charge.
Hey, Chicagoland viewers. How would you like to win $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 9799. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules.
Here's Ramirez. Takes it right there. And the count 0-1. Outfield straight up, spread out.
We had a couple of very good shots at taking Galarraga right out of this game. First inning, third inning, and a triple with only one out in the fourth inning. One run to this point to show for it.
And there's a strike. 1-2. Well, anytime your offense is not clicking, you're going to look lethargic.
Well, there's no question. If you get nobody on base, there's not much you can do with it.
They did not go. It never fails. You always look lethargic when you're not hitting. And that's not the case. Guys, as a rule, most of the time when you're not hitting, they try to do too much. That's why it's contagious. Contagious in a positive fashion, or it's contagious in a negative fashion. Full count.
Bearing in mind that Galarraga has averaged just 5 2/3 innings per start. He's not through the fifth yet, and he's going to throw pitch number 77.
Well, that's straight back.
Actually took a good swing at that. He got a real good pitch to hit, but fouled it straight back. Galarraga got that ball center cut. He's lucky to have gotten away with that.
And the payoff. That ball hit deep. And it's going to be foul. Into the corner. Rayburn just couldn't get there.
Made a nice effort, but he's got a palm burger for his efforts. He slid into the corner. Take a look at Ryan Rayburn as he drifts into the corner. Sees where he is before he hits the deck, and you see his hand take a bit of a beating.
A 4-base hit right here. There's the base hit. Thank you very much. So the 1-out single. And that'll bring up Jermaine Dye, who has walked and singled.
Well, take a look at the location of this pitch. This ball is a good 5 inches inside. But Alexi, at least knowing that the inside pitches have been called, goes out, gets it, able to loop it into a perfect spot.
Now Alexei.
And Ozzie was coming out. I'm not sure exactly why. He had walked about within 10 feet of home plate and then walked back.
Alexei was just walking around like he was hurt. As Jermaine takes first pitch strike. Three, 5-0 for the Tigers. 1-6-1 for our Sox. And the count 0-2. Big Jim Thome on deck. Just joining us, Sox with 1 in the first. Tigers 2 in the second, 1 in the fifth. That ball hit deep, way back. Rayburn looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes! Yes! This game is tied at 3. He got a hanger, and he just killed it.
That's a 15th home run for Jermaine Dye. And Galarraga, we told you, leads this team in giving up home runs. That's the 13th he's given up. And so the little soft base hit and the 2-run bomb. It's a brand new game tied at 3. Clayton Richard can't lose. Now the game is in the hands of DJ Carrasco.
And here's Big Jim. Little soft hit ground ball. Adam Everett going to make the play for out number 2.
Our fourth drive of the game comes off the bat of Jermaine Dye. This is a get-me-over slider that slid its way out of the ballpark. Jermaine gets most of it, taking it over the bullpen. Couldn't think of a better time for our fourth drive of the game.
And here's Konerko. Paulie, 0 for 2. Checked it 0 for 1. Had a sacrifice fly back in the first inning, picking up RBI number 35. And of course, with that home run by Jermaine Dye, the Alex Snellius family will donate $100 to White Sox charities for every Sox homer hit throughout the course of the season. That is number 56, so $5,600 donated by Alex Snellius in loving memory of Ursula. One and one to count. And the count. 2 balls and a strike.
That's a tip-off that Paul's going real good right now because that looked like it was going to be a strike. It was a slider at the last instant. It dipped down out of the zone. That was a real good take.
And the count 3-1 with A.J. on deck. Well, for all of you out there who have not been able to follow the Sox, as I mentioned earlier in the game, Paul's been hitting the ball extremely hard, hanging out line drives all over the yard and right at somebody. And that's ball 4.
Once again, unwilling to expand his strike zone with nobody on base. He took 2 low pitches. I think Jim Leland is probably going to insist on a call to the bullpen.
Well, that's one thing about it. When you're swinging the bat well like Paul is, you do not want him to go out and start going out of the strike zone, even with 2 out, nobody on in a tie ball game.
And he took 2 real close pitches. And last time up, A.J. hit the ball about as hard as you can possibly hit it, but he hit it right at Ordonez.
Boy, that was a screaming Mimi. And that's low and away. Nice pick right there by Cabrera on the bad wheel. But the big 2-run homer by Jermaine Dye will go to the 6th inning, tied at 3. here in the top of the 6th inning. Game is tied at 3. Big 2-run homer by Jermaine Dye. As that pitch is fouled back. And for all you golfers out there who are long hitters, got a big day coming up on Saturday, June 13th at the Boone Creek Golf Club in McHenry. And you can have a chance to win $10,000. $10,000 in a long driving contest. And it's going to be 8 divisions. You're going to have the Open Division, 5 to 9 boys and girls, 10 to 13 boys and girls, 14 to 17 boys and girls, 18 to 21 boys and girls. In the Women's Division, Senior Division, 50 to 64, and the Super Seniors, 65 and up. But all you got to do to win that $10,000 is beat Sean the Beast Pfister. There's a base hit, breaking ball, just a roller, and the leadoff man aboard. Well, the first hit given up by Carrasco, but Sean the Beast Pfister, 3-time RE/MAX World Long Drive Champion. And you got to beat Joe Nuke Hyduke, former Long Drive Champion. And if you do, you win $10,000.
If you do, it'll be a miracle.
That is at Boone Creek Golf Club, Saturday, June 13th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
You'd think a guy with a 111 batting average would be thinking about laying one down here. I know that Josh Fields is way in on the grass.
But DJ Chardinha does the job, gets him over.
This is a very good bunt. Put it right out on the grass. Only DJ could field it. And he made the play at first.
And on that Saturday, June 13th, Beat the Beast at Boone Creek Golf Club. All proceeds will benefit White Sox charities. As here is Curtis Granderson. And we certainly want to thank Ron Watula, Bill Wren, and Chris Newcart for putting this event on. $10,000. You're a long hitter. Call Boone Creek Golf Club in McHenry, Illinois, and check it out.
Well, you like to see that because Everett has swiped 3 bags this year. He's been caught once. And they weren't paying much attention to him. With 1 out, you can get a big enough lead and a walking lead. It's fairly easy to steal third. It changes the complexion of this at bat.
Granderson goes through it and count 0-2. Curtis is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts today.
Curtis will go out of the strike zone, either down on a breaking ball or up out of the strike zone. And you can strike him out 47 times this year.
And that's looped out into right field for a base hit. So Everett's going to score. And the Tigers retake the lead 4-3.
A little bit too good of a pitch on 0-2. To a guy with now 35 runs batted in. That ball stayed up a long time. And Granderson opened up and looped it into right.
He is 10 for 12 in stolen bases, and here is Polanco, who's 1 for 3. Oh, 1 the count. Anderson, pretty good lead.
Oh, 1 is normally a good time to pitch out. That's why it's not a good time to run.
And the count 1-1. Blanco, 33-year-old veteran. Last year, as I mentioned, hit 307, 8 homers, and knocked in 58 for the Tigers. First of a split doubleheader as there's a pitch out, fouled away. And now he's going to say interference.
Catcher's interference because Polanco went out there as A.J. went in front of him to catch the ball. It was a pitch out, and he hit the glove.
Well, the question is, did he go out of the batter's box?
Take another look. No, he stayed in the batter's box.
Yes, he did.
Actually, a real smart play by Polanco because he knows Granderson's dead to rights. He goes out and catches a glove. Winds up at first base.
So trouble a-brewing here. 1 in, 2 on, and here's Maggs. Nice block by A.J.
That's considered E2.
Third era. On Pierzynski this year. Getz doing a good job right there. Jockeying back and forth. Now Maggs will take his timeout. Some hitters really don't like for that runner to be jockeying around at second base.
Well, what they want him to do is get a lead and then get a good secondary lead. But the hopping back and forth doesn't really do much for you.
There's the strike to even the count at 1. Maggs, 35 years old now. And the count 1-2. Miguel Cabrera on deck. Make a good pitch right here. He did. He gone. Frozen. Hook.
Good solid curveball right here, and look at the knees. They buckle. Maggs can't pull the trigger. A.J. does a nice job of catching it, framing it, and gets the call. Now he's going out to talk with Carrasco about how they want to work a very tough hitter in Cabrera.
Cabrera is 0 for 2 with a walk today. Well, A.J. and Bill Miller had a little conversation prior to A.J. going out there. This is a good crew. We have a big series, and I'm glad they sent us a good crew. Bill Miller behind the plate's good. Joyce good. Runge's good. Cousins good. Nice pitch. Ate him up inside. And that'll do it, but they do pick up 1. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th, trailing by 1.
Visit WhiteSox.com between June 8th and June 21st to check out the latest Chicago White Sox Charities online auction. Don't miss your chance to bid on a unique experience with members of the 1959 Go-Go White Sox. Visit WhiteSox.com to place your bid today.
Fakes the bunt, takes the ball. 4-7-0 for the Tigers, 3-7-2 for our Sox. 24,408. 4,408 tickets sold, and a nice crowd on hand.
Well, I believe a lot of the folks, Hawk, might have taken a look at today. Maybe they thought the weather was ominous and then figured, what a nice day to come to the ballpark.
That is going foul.
The sun has been shining most of the game. It's a very warm, humid day. Actually, a day that doesn't favor either the hitter or the pitcher. It's a great day to pitch. It's a great day to hit. Be a lot better with a couple more runs.
Comebacker right to him. One out. And a White Sox stumper back in 1996, who led the American League in walks with 125. And the answer is one of my favorites, Tony Phillips.
He walked 125 times?
Tony Phillips was a very, very under the radar rated player.
Tony Phillips is a good golfer.
Josh Field, he's 0 for 2. Now, you want to talk about somebody that will compete with you? Tony Phillips will compete with you. One of the best competitors I have ever seen in this game. One and one to count. Josh has popped up the center and grounded to third. And if you're just tuning in, we've had several opportunities to put some points up on that board and did not cash one of them. Chases a pitcher's pitch right there, and the count 1-2. Colorado leading St. Louis 4-1 that game in the top of the seventh in St. Louis.
That's Jason Marquis going in that game, Hawk, and he's going after his 8th win of the year for a last place team.
And that's out number 2. Just the second strikeout for Galarraga.
Figured if Josh was swinging a breaking ball down and out of the zone on strike 2, why not go there again and get the third strike?
So here's why as Rockies trying to win their 5th straight. And of course sweep the Cardinals.
Well, they're also 13 and a half games in back of Los Angeles. 24-32. Yet Marquis bidding to go 8-4. That's not bad for a team that's going to finish up the track. However, if they decide they ever want to move Dexter Fowler, there's probably a place for him. He's a good-looking young center field.
The 0-2 pitch to Wayne on the outside corner. 1-2-3 inning, and we'll go to the 7th trailing 4-3. Here in the top of the 7th inning. Tigers lead it 4-3. Timms takes a breaking ball strike. Timms has gone out deep to right field, robbed of a home run on a beautiful catch by Jermaine Dye, going up and over the fence to bring it back in, and he also has walked twice.
Jermaine's had a pretty good day today, both with the glove and the bat.
Drop down, breaking ball, he gone. And if you miss that catch, back in the 2nd inning, poof.
Marcus Timms bidding for a home run. Jermaine looks up, realizes where he is, and knows that he's got to go up as high as he can. Using a little leverage on the top of that wall, he pulls it down and keeps it in the park.
Brandon Inge takes a fastball strike. He's 1 for 2. Also has a bases loaded walk back in the 5th. And the count 0-2. That 5th inning when they scored 1 run. 2 out, nobody on. Base hit by Mag. Soft base hit right off the end of the bat. And then consecutive walks to Cabrera, Timms, and Inge by Clayton Richard, and then DJ came on. He gone. Dropped down, breaking ball.
And Inge is saying that ball curved around the plate. But again, we harken back to early where Bill Miller established he'll call the ball inside. That ball really wasn't a strike, but he's been calling pitches in there. He called another one. AJ yanks it back over the inside corner. Good for him.
Here's Rayburn. Fastball hit into the gap. Nobody's going to get that one. One hop off of Louis Aparicio. So the 2-out double. Rayburn now 1 for 3.
Rayburn came in hitting it 250. This ball stays on the outside corner. Ryan Rayburn puts a charge into it, fortunately keeping it in the ballpark.
Adam Everett is 2 for 3 with an RBI. Takes first pitch strike. Foul tipped, and the count 0-2.
Well, that's a break you're looking for because that's going to be a 1-1 count. Everett couldn't get the bat back far enough when he moved away from that pitch. He finds himself in a pretty big hole.
There's a little drop down breaking ball. Just flipped it up there. 4-8-0 for the Tigers. 3-7-2 for our Sox here in the top of the 7th inning. Just got a piece of that high fastball. And as we speak, 79 degrees here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field.
Let's think optimistically and think that this inning ends with Everett. Then hopefully Galarraga comes out because you don't want to see a whole lot of Zumaya or Rodney.
He gone. Strikes out the side. All on breaking pitches. 7th inning stretch. We need 1 to tie.
On a roll. Armando Galarraga staying in the game. At the bottom of the seventh, you'd just as soon get to him before that very talented Tiger pen takes over, and it's been certainly good lately. In fact, the Tigers' pitching staff has been good. Joined former White Sox greats at the inaugural Chicago White Sox Fantasy Camp, January 10th through the 17th at the White Sox new state-of-the-art spring training facility, Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. For an enrollment form or additional information, call 312-674-5444. Rosters fill up quickly, so don't delay.
All right. Top of the order here in the bottom of the seventh. 4-3 bad guys on top.
Double-barreled action in that Tiger bullpen. So Jim Leyland's not going to be overly patient with Galarraga. That's why we got to get him before he leaves and they get to that pen.
Scotty Pides is 2 for 3 with a run scored.
Bobby C. and Ryan Perry, a hard-throwing rookie right-hander.
And the count 2-0. Well, both these guys are going to try to manage this game like it's a playoff game. The first game of this series is huge.
And first game of a split doubleheader is equally as important as any game we'll play probably this year. And to me, Galarraga is losing it. That's why you just as soon him stay in the game.
Well, he's losing what he had today because he didn't have.
Didn't have a whole lot.
I tip my cap to him. He has busted his behind out there and competed. He has not had his good stuff. There's the strike.
He's going to stay away. That's a very exciting gap in left center field. And Rayburn is very shallow in left field. Doesn't seem that Scotty has really hit the ball hard that way if you stay away from it.
And there's Scotty thought that was a little high.
But it might have been a little away also. And Bill Miller's hearing a little something from the dugout.
And it's fouled back. And there's ball 4.
Tried to backdoor the breaking ball, and that's a tying run on base.
And that'll bring up Alexi Ramirez. Alexi 1 for 3 with a run scored.
Now Inge is way off the line at third base. Not going to matter because here comes Jim Leyland, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be it for Galarraga.
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
It's kind of surprised to see him go out there to start this inning.
He's going to stay with him. He's going to give him a chance to work out of this jam.
He's also probably talking to the infield on what they want to do for a bunt. Now, if Inge sets up at the same place, Ramirez is pulling most everything Galarraga is throwing, and he's giving him a lot of room down that third base line. But we'll see where he goes back now that Galarraga is staying in the game. He's in at the cut of the grass, but he's still well away from that third base bag. Now he's moving closer to the bag.
Scotty Pides, good lead. And here comes Inge creeping in on the grass. Draws it back and takes the ball.
Scotty's got to get a good secondary lead, especially if Cabrera releases. And the reason is they're both charging hard at the corners, and especially Inge has a rocket for an arm.
Well, Inge is going to have to do most of the work with that bad hamstring by Cabrera. Long look. Not a good technique.
No.
Alexei just does not have a good technique with the bunt.
You know what?
I think he would. He just jabs at it.
Well, he can bunt for a hit, and he does that fairly well. But when he's asked to turn around, that ball is way out of the zone. And where he had the bat, the only thing he could do is pop that up. So it's probably best he fouled it back, and Ozzie is really unhappy.
He should be. Very seldom do you see a guy squaring around this early and execute well. Very seldom. Bunting is more of a timing. I have talked to some of the best bunters ever to play this game, and they say it's a timing. This is not timing right here. And the count 1-2.
The last time in a similar situation, Alexei bunted on his own. You just don't want to see him do it here. And if he fails to get down a bunt, still have the opportunity to try to steal a bag, something they haven't exploited.
And even with the bag still off the line, I feel they are straight up, about equidistant.
I think Galarraga was putting the sleeper on him.
He's slow playing it. That's gamesmanship. It's also bothering the guy at the plate with the bat in his hand. That is popped up.
Tag up, Scotty.
Rayburn. And that is out number one. So a failed execution of the bunt hurts. And Jermaine Dye will be the hitter. He has walked, singled hard, and hit a bomb, 2-run homer. Outfield now backed up. No double set. It's over. Mag's head us out of here. Big lead now by Pods. And that pitch inside.
What's over Mag's head is the Bertucci boys. Because he's
I love it when you say Bertucci boys.
He's about as deep as any right fielder would get with a right-hand hitter out.
I just hear that name, the Bertucci boys, and my heart just lights up.
Oh, my bride was very impressed with their array of food.
There's the strike out in the latter half, and the count 1-1. Jim Thome on deck. Not even close, and the count 2 balls and a strike. If you're just tuning in, this is a game in which we should have the lead, but we don't. We have had ample opportunities to put some points on the board.
Galarraga going to deliver his 116th pitch.
He fakes it. Big rip by Jermaine, and that evens the count. Pretty good fake right there by Scotty Pods. One out. And the 2-2. Chops that foul. Jeff Cox is going to make that play and make himself a new friend.
Good job of staying alive by Jermaine Dye, who got a straight change. Was out on the front foot, but was able to hit the ball well enough to see another pitch.
Another long set by Galarraga. And that's popped up right side. Maggs is there, and that is out number 2.
Now we'll see if Jimmy Leland wants him to face Jim Tomic. He has a left-hander up in the pen in Bobby C., and that's going to be it for Galarraga. Went as far as he thought he could go. He's going to the lefty.
Galarraga, as I said, a workmanlike job by the big right-hander out there today. Did not have his good stuff and has kept battling and battling and battling. He departs, Sam. We'll be back.
Bobby C. comes into the game, an 0-1 record, a 5.06 ERA, and for the 24th time. He's had a couple of save opportunities. Hasn't nailed one down yet. He's not used as a closer, especially now.
So big Jim Thome, 2 for 8 lifetime off C. That almost got him right there.
Well, it puts a tying run in scoring position.
And it'll get your adrenaline flowing a little bit quicker.
Looked to me like Sardina might have been crossed up. As he was sitting low and away, that ball was up and in. Now he goes out there to have a word with Bobby C. You can't shift as drastically on him in this situation because Everett asking the dugout, do you want me on the first base side of second? Or do you want me straight away? And whoever's aligning the defense in the Detroit dugout says, play on the first base side of second.
So 1-0 the count. And the count 2-0. See, originally drafted by the White Sox, wanted way too much money, which he did not get. Big hack by Big Jim. And the count 2-1. Nice and easy, big guy. Stay on top of him. Polanco back out there in short right field as the count now moves to 2-2. Now the specter that you got to look for his fastball and hit his breaking pitch.
Well, you don't want to look for the breaking ball. You won't catch up to the heater if he decides to throw it inside on him.
That's why you got to look for the fastball and then hit the breaking pitch. Good check, and the count goes full.
Well, I like the fact that Sardina did not appeal, and only when he looked into the dugout did they say, hey, ask Darrell Cousins, the crew chief at third base. But because of that delay, and it took a long time, you're not going to get that call.
Ball for base hit. Konerko on deck. Mag's real deep in right field. And he gets him. So we get the leadoff man aboard, get a wild pitch to put him in scoring position, can't do anything with it, and we'll go to the 8th. Anderson and Polanco here in the top of the 8th inning. DJ Carrasco, first pitch strike. Sardina with a sacrifice fly. That was on an attempted squeeze that he missed the sign. Fouled out to right and had a sacrifice bunt. He's 0 for 1. Breaking ball and the count 0-2.
Bullpen up and going is DJ has been used a lot the last couple of days, and Dotel loosening up in case Carrasco needs some help.
Here you go.
Well, that floating sidearm breaking ball comes up there. It's pretty inviting and then just kind of floats away.
It's like a frisbee.
Against a right-hander, that's a real tough pitch. Host a fan party on U.S. Cellular Fan Field Deck in center field. Packages include 150 tickets, access to the fan deck for the whole game, and an all-inclusive food and drink package for the first 90 minutes of the game.
Anderson, first ball hunting, pops it up. Be wise. 2 down. Anderson now 1 for 5, but it was a big one, an RBI single back in the 6th inning.
You can reserve that fan deck today by calling 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details.
So here's Polanco.
Be a nice inning to get out of this one, 1-2-3, and turn it over to the offense.
Two and 0 the count with Max Ordonez, the on-deck hitter. Bottom of the 8th from St. Louis, 5-2 Rockies. And that's a can of corn. So a nice job and a nice inning right here by Carrasco. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is 4-3 Tigers. With the Illinois Lottery. And remember, Stevie, you can't win unless you play.
Well, that's certainly true. And we're going to have to turn up the play a bit as Joel Zumaya comes into this one.
Got to dial it up just a little bit. 24-year-old right-hander out of Chula Vista, California.
2-0 this year, ERA 289, on for the 15th time. He does have one save, although the closers, Fernando Rodney.
That pitch low and away. That at 98. Tell us that yesterday his first 8 pitches were 100 miles an hour.
Rod Allen came over from the Tiger broadcast team. Those 8 pitches in a row in triple digits. I told him we had a slow gun. So those two were just at 98, but you can throw 98 all day long, especially if you don't throw strikes.
Well, he's got the catbird seat at 2-0. Pierzynski on deck and gets in the hole.
Ball can turn around to 98 if he gets too much of the plate.
There it goes. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yeah. Yeah. This game is tied at 4.
That, my friends, was too much of the plate, but not for Paulie. His 8th of the year, his 2nd run batted in today. It is a brand new game. Welcome to the game, Joel Zumaya.
Paulie can turn a 30-30 around when he is swinging it good.
That was a line drive rocket over the head of Rayburn, out far enough. And a tremendous relief job by DJ
valuable pieces of that bullpen.
Especially when you consider Hawk in spring training didn't know what his role was going to be or where it would be. Has he come on to be valuable? And Zumaya's fallen behind again, this time to Pierzynski.
That
down
one
the
at
middle
100.
again.
Well, they wanted DJ right where he's been.
Yep.
There's a swing man down there in that pen.
Well,
that position has just, the status of that first man out has become such a huge difference.
look what happened today. He came in with the bases loaded. A 3-1 deficit and held them right there.
And there's ball 4.
That's the go-ahead run. As we'll take a look at a fastball right down the middle. It was at 99. And it was probably 110 going out. Maybe a little bit more than that. Quick trip to the mound by Rick Knapp. So Galarraga can't win. Carrasco can win. And you got to feel that Chris Getz will probably be laying one down.
That home run was the second by Konerko off Zumaya.
Well, Hawk, you've said it a number of times. You can throw 98, 99, or 102, but if it's straight and down the middle, it doesn't help you very much.
It's meat. It may be hard for a lot of fans who maybe never played the game of baseball but really enjoy it to understand that hitters would rather face a guy throwing 105 who's straight than a guy who's throwing 88 or 89 with good movement.
That's why Rodney's closing and Zumaya's setting up, because of the straight change Rodney has.
There's a bunt, bunted right back to Zumaya. He's going to go to second base, and they get it. So once again, a failed execution of a bunt.
Now that play is called by the catcher. Sardina calls the play because Zumaya has his back to it. Sardina sees the play all the way. He's yelling second. They get him by plenty at second, but AJ doing the best job he can do, making sure there is no throw to first. Now, we haven't seen a stolen base attempt on the part of the Sox today. This might be a pretty good time for it.
Chris is 5 for 6 in that category. And that one at 98 catches the outside corner. Josh, 0 for 3. He's popped to center. Back in the fourth, grounded to third. Getz was on third with a 1-out triple. He didn't get in. And he is struck out. And the count 0-2.
Scott Linebrink throwing in the bullpen. Tiger bullpen quiet.
0-2 pitch. And Paul keeps that. Konerko keeps the bat in front of him, and he's short and quick. That's when he's short and quick, when he keeps it in front of him. He is one of the best fastball hitters in the game. In the game. Not just in this game or in this league. Anywhere.
Well, he had a 2-0 fastball to hit. And he was looking for it, got it, and crushed it.
So that is out number 2, and here comes Dwayne Wise, who's 0 for 3. Twice he's gone out to left, and once he has struck out, called out. As you look at Linebrink.
Still haven't tried to run yet. Sardina looks over into the dugout to see if they want to pitch out on the first pitch.
One of the things about hitting 100-mile-an-hour fastball or a 98, 99. The harder they throw, the longer you have to wait as they hit it. One and one to count. You see a lot of guys try to cheat on that hard thrower. Very seldom are they successful.
Well, that opens you up a little too soon.
And then you have almost no chance to push the bat fast enough. And a count 1-2 at 99. Outfield about equidistant, spread out slightly to the left. There he goes. There's a throw, high. Nice job by Polanco backing up.
Now that's been sitting there all day, Hawk, and knowing that his middle finger isn't real good, we haven't taken the opportunity to run on Sardina. And we'll watch it again. You can see the throw is nowhere close. Didn't get a chance to take a step. That's a tying run out at second base. There was a late appeal to Darrell Cousins at third. Bill Miller looked at him to find out if he felt that Wise swung the bat. He didn't. Chris Steele, second base easily.
So a 4-4 tie with it. Gets it second. 2 out and a 2-2 count to Wise. And it's popped up. Granderson makes the call. Has the ball, but the home run by Paul Konerko, his 8th of the year, leading off here in the bottom of the 8th, and we are tied at 4.
Touch with MLB.com at Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit WhiteSox.com on your iPhone or iTouchpad to purchase. Scott Linebrink comes into the game, and he'll have to go right through the heart of the order. Linebrink 2-2, a fine ERA of 183 on for the 21st time, and it's a game tied at 4, so the hands of the bullpen enter.
0-2 the count to Maggs. Maggs is 2 for 4 today with a run scored. That's in the dirt.
DJ Carrasco went 3 1/3 innings, gave up a run on 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, and fanned 5.
DJ, one of our most valuable members down in that bullpen. Maggs coming into today a 329 lifetime hitter. As Alexi's got him. Can he get him? Yes! Nice play.
Well, that was an outstanding effort and could turn out to be a game saver. Not going to have much more range at shortstop than Ramirez, and when he throws it and lets it go, he's usually very accurate. The only time Alexi gets in trouble is when he tries to lollipop his throw, and that time he got Maggs by a good 2 steps.
Well, Alexi, one reason he has that big range is he plays probably deeper at short than any other guy in this league. As here is Cabrera, who's 0 for 3 today.
They know Cabrera can't run, and the infield also knows that Cabrera has a bad hamstring, so everybody's very deep, and Fields is right on the line.
Good pitch. And that's where you got to pitch this guy, especially in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning in a close ball game.
He runs that fastball inside. You can see Cabrera doing whatever he can to try to get the head of the bat on it, but to no avail.
Well, he's been called out once on a fastball inside, so he's going to be swinging if it's in there close. Got away with one out over the plate there, and the count 1-2.
Brandon Lyon, Fernando Rodney. Detroit doesn't score, it'll be Lyon. They do score, it'll be Rodney. That ball looked like came close to hitting Cabrera.
Yeah, he's vulnerable in there because of that called strikeout.
That was the get off me ball swing. Again. Doesn't foul that off, it might have hit him in the thigh.
Marcus Tim's on deck, but right here we still got to get this big man out. That's the 8th error committed by Josh.
It's a relatively easy play because you know the man going down the line can't run. I mean, look at him trot out of the box. It's not his fault. He has a hamstring problem. Josh had all the time in the world. That's a go-ahead run out at first base. He's going to depart for a pinch runner.
And here's Timms.
And you see Cabrera coming out of the box. He can't really do anything on that hamstring. Josh Anderson, first base to pinch run. Anderson has 10 stolen bags, been caught twice.
And that's fouled. Looks like Alexi wanted to go down too quick on it. Lost his rhythm.
This has not been a real good defensive inning to this point. Great play by Ramirez up the middle to start it off. And Alexi's there to make this backhand. Should probably be thinking about one, but he got down on his knees a little early, and it seemed to upset the timing. Then there's really no sense to throw this ball to first base because the only thing you can do is get yourself in more trouble. Paul did a nice job of coming off. It does go as a base hit.
So now 1 out, 2 on. And here's Inge. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored.
Inge has grounded into 7 double plays this year. And the 8th would be mighty welcome.
Flips that one. The LG Skyline Club seats. Anderson stole 52 bases last year. 42 with Richmond and 10 with Atlanta in just 40 games.
Just give him a double look occasionally at second base. He's getting a lead, but not a great lead, as Chris Getz is pretty close to second base. Keeps on faking going over there.
And that's fouled away. So the count 1-2. Well, that's one reason that Brandon Inge has been trying to stay inside and take it that way, because Getz has got to hold him close. And that is a double-edged sword for us, which is good.
Inge is their most prolific strikeout man. 54 of them this year to lead the club by a wide margin.
One out, 2 on, 1-2 the count. Line break. And that's a base hit. So the Era is going to come around and score. And the Tigers lead at 5-4. All right, come on. Can't do anything about that. We have got to shut them down right here.
RBI 39. This is a fastball that Scott wanted inside. Didn't get it there. Second run batted in. 1 on a bases loaded walk. This is single through the left side. And you got to face Rayburn.
Who's 1 for 3? A double in the 7th. And that is high and deep. Pides back. Now right in front of Luke Appling. Hauls it in. And Rayburn just missed it. Mercer. 2 down.
This fastball is on the inner half. It doesn't get inside, but fortunately, it just missed the sweet spot. And I think Rayburn thought he had hit that ball out of the ballpark.
Here's Everett. Adam is 2 for 4. A couple singles, RBI, and a run scored. 5-10-0 for the Tigers. 4-8-3 for our Sox. And this will do it, but the Era comes around to score. Unearned run, and we are going to the bottom of the ninth trailing by 1. Moving forward, the focus is on Bobby Jenks. And the Sox closer is the first pitcher in team history with 30 or more saves in 3 consecutive seasons. Bobby Jenks. Bobby Jenks.
White Sox Diamond Suites are perfect for client entertainment, family parties, or a night out with friends. Provide first-class service while enjoying White Sox baseball. Reserve a Diamond Suite for a Sox game today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com for more details. It's Fernando Rodney. He comes in 0-1, ERA 3.75, on for the 25th time. He has 10 saves. He's given up just 1 home run, walked 8, fanned 19 in 24 innings. What makes him pretty tough is that he throws in the mid to upper 90s. Look at Josh Anderson in left. Rayburn shifts to first. But Rodney has a tremendous straight change. That's what separates him from a lot of other pitchers that throw hard.
Scott Posednik, Alexei Ramirez, and Jermaine Dye to face Fernando Rodney. Scott is 2 for 3. A couple of base hits, singles, and a run scored. First pitch strike. Rodney trying to pick up his 11th save. And the count 1-1. Five, 10-0 for the Tigers. 4-8 and a big 3 for us. There's the changeup.
Boy, that's a dandy. Because you can't see it. It comes from the same arm angle with the same arm velocity as his fastball.
It's one of the best in the league.
Only it just doesn't get there.
Well, Scotty, good 2-strike hitter, buddy. And the count 2-2. Scotty led off the bottom of the first with a base hit. Came around to score on a sacrifice fly by Konerko. That's a big out. Always the first out, a big out. So with 1 out, let's check out our USA the text poll question and results. Which team will win this 4-day, 5-game series? 68% said B. Tigers. There's Alexei. 1 for 4. Takes the bunt, takes the strike. Need a base runner. We got to get Tommy up to the plate. Jermaine Dye on deck.
And outfield straight away and fairly deep.
And there's a good way to go.
Rodney tried to throw a 96-mile-an-hour fastball by Ramirez. One of the things very few people can do, regardless of what speed you throw it, is get a fastball by Alexei. You can fool him on occasion. Can't really overpower him, not in the strike zone. That's the potential tying run with Jermaine Dye staring out at Rodney.
Jermaine has walked, singled hard, hit a big 2-run homer, and he's popped up to right. Jermaine hitting at 280. Gorlano was 15 homers and 39 knocked in. Down to Inge and rack him up. This ball game is over. So the unearned run In the top of the ninth inning, Sox did not play a good ball game or execute well at all today, Stone Pony.
They didn't, and unfortunately, the two guys that have really hit Rodney well never came to bat. Tommy and Konerko hitting 4